Real Estate Talk on Smart Talk 1580.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Real Estate Talk. I'm your host, Dave Pouch of RE/MAX Integrity. We are live this beautiful Saturday morning, and I say beautiful in the sense that it is raining. We have finally achieved fall weather. We are broadcasting live from the Albany studios of KGAL KShow Radio at Silver Falls Dermatology, the old library building. And as I said, it is October. Fall weather seems to have arrived. School is in full swing. The stores have the Halloween candy and costumes and all that kind of good stuff out. Thanksgiving regalia will probably be out very, very soon. Weekends are filled with college football. Go Beavs. Ducks aren't playing today, so I'm okay saying go Beavers. And the World Series just around the corner. We are, my friends, at the front end of the traditional holiday season. So turn the defroster on in your car, put a new windshield wiper set in your windshield wiper blade set in your car. Sit back, spend the next hour with us talking about real estate. Today we're going to revisit the topic of negotiations in real estate. Most importantly, the role that your agent has in helping you solve problems as they arise during the transaction. The things you need to understand about the negotiation process continues all the way through your real estate transaction. And we're going to talk about two very specific phases where it comes into play, and a little bit about how your agent, the agent on the other side, should be working together to help you get to closing, because that's really where you want to get, right? You want to get that transaction closed. If you're a seller, you want the sold sign in your front yard. If you're the buyer, you want a set of keys and access to your new castle. But first, we're going to do, as always, the real estate showcase. 3 homes in the showcase today. The first home is located in Crabtree. And I was talking to someone the other day about this house in Crabtree, and they said, well, where is Crabtree? And it kind of set me back a little bit. I didn't realize. But if you're not familiar, Crabtree is kind of in the triangle between Lebanon, Lacombe, Scioto, and Albany off of Highway 226. It's actually a very convenient location for Lebanon, for Salem, and for Albany. If you're looking for a home with a more rural lifestyle and a more rural feel, Crabtree is actually a pretty good place to start your search. One of the great things about Crabtree, to my mind, is that you actually get to pick between Albany and Scioto schools, because the line is kind of right out in that area. And Albany and Scioto, both very, very good schools with great reputations. And both football teams, Scioto beat St. Anne Christian on Thursday night, and West Albany over, I think it was Dallas on Thursday night as well. So good football teams too. Now, this particular home is located. It's located in Crabtree. It's a very nicely updated 3-bedroom home, 0.62 acre lot, nice big lot, very secluded the way the landscaping's set up. The home is 1,450 square feet. It has very nice hardwood floors. The kitchen is updated. There's some newer appliances. The exterior of the home has some really attractive stonework and really an absolutely fantastic shop. 16-foot doors. 110 volts and 220 volt power. The shop is fully insulated. It is piped for compressed air. It will fit a semi-truck cab and more. Behind the shop, right immediately behind the shop, there's a full bathroom. Then right behind that, there was another area, and I think it's about 20 by 20, give or take. Don't hold me to that. You could use it for storage, but it's fully carpeted. It actually would be a great kind of a living space, recreational space. The heat is circulated water, and it's a newer pump. But the shop is really just the ultimate man cave. It's a great place to work on cars. If you wanted to run an auto business, for example, this would be a great place to do it. Find out more about this home, and it's located at 37773. That's 37773 3rd Street in Crabtree. That's a lot of threes. Listing price $284,900. The MLS, if you would like additional information on this wonderful home, is 646-724. My second showcase home is an expansive single-story home with over 2,200 square feet of living space. It has 5 bedrooms, and there are so many options in this wonderful home. It is a traditional single-story ranch type of home located in southwest Albany, but it's had some modifications done to it. It's added the 2 additional bedrooms and a bath and a laundry room at the other end of the house. It's converted one of the 2-car garage stalls into an additional bedroom. And it get easily converted back, I would think, taking a look at it, if you just needed the 4 bedrooms. But you have the laundry room, kitchen's very nice, the bathrooms have been updated. A lot of nice updates in this house. There's a newer roof, newer vinyl windows, seamless gutters, all installed in 2010. It is situated on a large corner lot in an established southwest neighborhood. Do you need room to park a boat or park an RV? This has it. Storage in spades, mature landscaping in the backyard, a covered patio. There's actually a second little deck out there that would be perfect for a hot tub, to my view. Very, very nice home. So much to offer. It's located at 1240 KGAL Street, Southwest in Albany. Very, very near to West Albany High School. The asking price, again, this is 2,200 plus square feet for $199,900. Okay. Beautiful home, great value, 1240 KGAL Street. The MLS for additional information is 648-385. My final showcase home today is a 4-bedroom, single-story home in southeast Albany. This home, very nicely updated and upgraded, perfect for buyers who need that extra bedroom in this particular price range. The open living and dining room, very light and bright. It's on a 0.14 acre corner lot with nice side yards. There is a play structure that can stay. The street, low traffic, plenty of parking. The garage is currently being used as a rec room, but it's easily converted back to a fully operational garage if you'd like. The seller said he will do that. The list price, $160,000. And at that price, the seller has agreed to pay up to $5,000 in buyer closing costs. And again, it's that price. 3613 Marion Street, Southeast in Albany. Great little home. 4 bedrooms, great price range. If you are that first-time buyer who needs that 4th bedroom, this is it. The MLS for additional information is 655-959. And that is the Real Estate Showcase for this 13th day of October, 2012. Does anybody know the significance of the 13th of October? The 13th of October, I'm going to tell you, I served 23 years in the United States Navy, and I actually had the pleasure to do that. I was joined in service by some family members. My nephew, James, still serving on active duty in the Navy. He's coming up on his retirement. My sister-in-law, Linda, retired after a career of 20 years as a Navy nurse on active duty. My cousin, Rick, was a Navy corpsman. So kind of a Navy family here. But today is the 237th birthday of the United States Navy. The Navy goes all the way back to October 13th, 1775. So to all you Navy veterans out there, to all of you active duty serving in the Navy today, happy birthday, honor, courage, and commitment. Those are the Navy values. Okay. So, October 13th, enough of that. If you want any information on any of our participating homes, send me an email at realestatetalk@kgal.com. If you have a question, send it in to realestatetalk@kgal.com. Or you can go to our Facebook fan page. And the Facebook fan page is facebook.com/realestatetalk on KGAL. I need your likes. If I could just ask one favor of you today, if you're on the computer, if you're looking on Facebook, go find our Facebook page. Again, it's facebook.com/realestatetalk on KGAL. Click like. I just want you to like me. I want to be like Sally Fields. I just want you to like me. So please, if you would do that. But if you have a question, you can participate in the conversations that go on there. I just posted a question the other day about where the best resources are for you to, as a buyer, to look for real estate. Participate. We like that, and I would love if you liked our page. Getting there is very easy. Facebook.com/realestatetalk on KGAL. Friends, if you're not currently working with a real estate professional and you would like a market analysis done on a property, whether you're looking to sell that property, whether you're looking to buy a home, knowledge is power, and market analysis is absolutely a great way to understand a little bit more about the decision you have to make. I will provide that to you at no obligation. Just send me the address, realestatetalk@kgal.com. But ultimately, I do want to be on your team, and I am an agent that is 100% committed to working with only one client in any real estate negotiation. I'm always on your side, so give me a call or send me an email today. Okay, we are going to talk about negotiations all the way through the real estate transaction and the role of your agent in helping you work through that. I'm Dave Pouch of RE/MAX Integrity. This is Real Estate Talk on KGAL.
It's a book lover's dream. The Friends of the Albany Public Library's annual used book sale is coming up November 2nd and 3rd at the Lynn County Fairgrounds. Over 15,000 books to choose from, including fiction, nonfiction, and children's books, hardback and paperback. You'll even find videos, talking books, CDs, and DVDs at crazy prices. Load up with bargains and help out the library at the Friends of the Albany Public Library's annual used book sale, November 2nd and 3rd at the Lynn County Fairgrounds. For more information or to donate books, call 928-4400.
Hello, I'm John Kohler from the Mennonite Village Foundation. I'd like to extend a special invitation to you, your friends, and family to join us at our 10th annual Celebration of Community. This year's event is Thursday, October 25th at 6 p.m. in Lakeside Center at Mennonite Village. In recognition of our 65th anniversary, our theme this year is Bridge to the Future. Social Insecurity, a really great barbershop quartet, will provide the entertainment and is sure to delight you. The menu consists of slow-roasted beef brisket and all the trimmings and will be provided by Mennonite Village Dining Services. We'll finish off the meal with warm peach cobbler topped with whipped cream. This year's tickets for the event are just $65 and are partially tax deductible. You can reserve them now by calling 541-704-4248. That's 704-4248. For each ticket purchase, you'll have a chance to win an authentic handmade Amish quilt. Seating is limited, so call today, 704-4248.
Here in the Mid-Willamette Valley, most farmers and ranchers cherish their horses. But when a horse becomes neglected and unwanted, the Lynn County Animal Rescue steps up to help. Their mission is to provide a safe and nurturing environment for abused, abandoned, neglected, and elderly horses. Operated solely by volunteers, they are a nonprofit rescue and horse sanctuary. To find out more on how you can help Lynn County Animal Rescue, call 541-258-3422 or visit their website, lcarhorse.org.
The Shed Institute and the Emerald City Jazz Kings opens their 2012-2013 series of concerts in Corvallis, Friday, October 19th, with a new director and a great lineup of popular music and jazz of the 20s through the 50s. First up, The Very Thought of You, a celebration of the music of British composer and bandleader Ray Noble. Join new director Jesse Cloninger and the band with such classics as The Very Thought of You, Cherokee, and The Isle of Capri. As always, the Jazz Kings performance will be unforgettable. The Jazz Kings is a big band of fine Northwest musicians, plus an excellent group of singers. One performance only in Corvallis, Friday, October 19th, 7:30 p.m. at LaSalle Stewart Center. For more information, go to kgal.com or kshow.net and click on the OFAM link or call 541-434-7000. Tickets will also be available at the door. The Emerald City Jazz Kings at LaSalle Stewart Center on the OSU campus.
Get tomorrow's news tonight. John Batchelor, Sunday through Friday nights on Smart Talk 1580.
Welcome back to Real Estate Talk. I'm Dave Pouch of RE/MAX Integrity. Real Estate Talk is your only resource on local radio for real estate information right here in Oregon's Mid-Willamette Valley. And we are always here for you on Saturday mornings. We do spend a couple of Thursdays a month, the first and third Thursdays of every month in the Valley Talk time slot. Great resource, though, is online. Doesn't matter. You can listen to us. Back shows are audio archived there. There are real estate statistics there. Just go to www.kgal.com and click on the link for Real Estate Talk. So today's show, I'm revisiting the topic from last fall. We talked about the art of negotiations. And at that time, I was focusing mainly on the negotiations at the beginning of a real estate transaction. The negotiations that get you, either as a buyer or a seller, into contract. And I made mention at that time that at the initial stage of the negotiations, you need to be thinking ahead because there are other stages. There are future stages of negotiations, and that's kind of our topic today. So I'm going to be speaking today primarily from the perspective of the buyer, because that's probably the simplest, most straightforward. You're the one negotiating these issues because they're initially in your hands in most cases. You're the one with the initial offer or the initial position that's going to be placed on the table. So we're going to do it today from this the perspective of the buyer. And again, we're talking about the phase where you've already found the home you love. You've made what you believe to be an acceptable deal on price and terms. So let's make some initial starting assumptions just so we can keep it all straight in our head. Let's assume that you really do want to buy this home, that it suits your needs, that it suits your wants, that you like the neighborhood, that it is ultimately the right home for you. The other assumptions, we're going to deal with this as an owner-occupied purchase rather than an investor property or an investment purchase, because your leverage is different, your motivations are different, okay? We're also going to assume that you have sufficient finances available to close this deal, and also that you are not on a razor-thin budget. In other words, the deal that you negotiated does not represent the ultimate top dollar, and 1 penny more kills everything, okay? We're going to assume that there's a little room, certainly that you can maintain your comfort zone, that you have a little more room to give and take. Now, to some extent, the loan program that you are in was very important when you initially negotiated the transaction. It's also going to have an impact on those items that you can even consider to negotiate down the road, okay, as we get into the transaction. Your loan program is going to provide some constraints that you may or may not be able to get around. And we'll discuss that when we get there. Okay, so you are in contract. Once you're in contract, the first thing you do is get a home inspection. You've reviewed the property disclosures. You've been in the house. So you should have at least some idea of what you're going to be facing in that home inspection. Most of the buyers that I've worked with recently, when they find the house they like, they really start to scratch to get a little bit below the surface as they're going through the house during the showings. They're pulling drawers in and out. They're shutting doors. They're looking at windows. They're really kind of getting into the material condition of the house to make sure that they're not seeing any red flags. And in fact, your agent probably will be right along your side doing the same things, pointing out things that may concern him or her about this house and pointing them out. Now, just as an aside here, let me point out this is one other reason why I believe that you as a buyer want to be working with an agent who's only representing you, okay? But enough said there. So the inspection's underway. Takes about 3.5 to 4 hours. What I recommend to my clients is show up at the final part of the inspection, the last hour. Let the inspector do his or her job, but meet them there at the end so that they can go over the highlights of what they have found. Now, inspectors typically find issues in a house, and they're going to fall into one of a couple of 4 categories. First of all, there are going to be the major, oh my gosh, run away, kill the contract. This is just, you can't get past this kind of an issue. And that's really what you're paying them for. The second is, this needs to be fixed before you go forward. It is an issue. It is a significant issue. It may affect the ability to get financing for the home. It's got to be fixed. You've got to negotiate this in and get it taken care of somehow, some way. Okay? The third item that needs to be addressed is, well, it's a safety issue, or it's something that is of concern, and either the seller needs to fix it, or you probably need to take responsibility and fix it very shortly after closing. The final thing that comes up in inspection reports is kind of the minor stuff that you just need to know about, you need to watch, you need to pay attention to, but it's not of immediate concern. It's probably something that you're not going to ask the seller to address. You're just going to take care of it down the road. The inspector was just doing their job and letting you know. Overlay on that, some of these items, you have to get a feel for what you can do yourself, what the seller is going to be able to do, and some of them are health and safety items. Some of them are maintenance issues. So you just, again, those are the general 4 categories, though. So let me just stop there. Again, let's assume that as a buyer, you're financing the home purchase and you're not paying cash. Now, how you are financing this home purchase comes into play. If you're getting an FHA, a VA, or a USDA loan, the material condition of the property is going to be incredibly important because you have a third party. You have the appraiser who is going to go look at that house, and they have a checklist that includes items of material condition. Okay? If the appraiser calls it out, even if during the inspection it either wasn't identified or you didn't think it was important, the appraiser calls it out, it's going to have to be corrected prior to the lender releasing funds on your loan, because the appraiser has generally put it in there as what is called a condition of value. So it affects how you negotiate as a buyer at this particular stage. In fact, it can give you additional leverage in getting repairs done because you have that third party in play. You know, you have the, it's called a third party ploy. Okay, gee, Mr. Seller, I don't really care about that issue, but the appraiser for the FHA program will, so we're going to need you to fix that or we can't move forward. It's not me, it's this third party. So your agent, in many cases your inspector, is going to have an idea of what those items are. So when they come up on the inspection report, this is where your agent plays a key role. Your agent and the agent for the seller both have done probably multiple FHA or VA or USDA transactions, and they know, yep, that's going to be an issue. They can hash it out. They can work it out. Certainly, they're going to understand that needs to be done, and they can talk it through, and then they can go back to their client and make a rational argument for what the right course of action is before it gets put down on paper. Now, remember, in real estate, all contracts have to be in writing for them to be binding. But that does not mean that you cannot do some verbal negotiations and work through some issues, talking about ideas in concept of how to resolve a problem, get an agreement, and then put it down on paper so that all parties agree to it. And it's very important, and some agents, I guess they need to understand what their roles are. We as agents, let me say that. We as agents need to understand what our roles are in these negotiations. So, first of all, fiduciary responsibility. My responsibility is to protect the best interests of my client. And again, I only work on one side in any real estate transaction. And again, let's say in this particular situation, you have two agents involved. They are both responsible for representing the best interest of their clients. So, assuming that this is not a house they're running away from, the best interest of my client is to get the keys to the house long term. That is one of the best interests of my client. The other is to make sure that they can get the loan closed, that they get major issues taken care of and resolved and fixed, or at least have a plan or are compensated for getting those items fixed to the extent that we can negotiate them in. The listing agent has the same responsibilities to their seller. They have to look for the best interests of their clients. And generally, the best interest of their client, as expressed in the listing contract to them, is, I want to get a sold sign in the front yard. Okay? That is in the interest of your client as a seller. Now, you're protecting their money, you're protecting their cash outlays, but ultimately, you have to look at what their goals are and what their best interests are. And all of the negotiations run through that filter from here out. Okay? So again, that's why agents can talk. We can resolve issues, we can get to understand it and keep the emotion out of it. But one of our roles as agents is to help guide our clients to recognize the path toward, this is what it's going to take to get the keys to this house, or this is what it's going to take to get the sold sign in the front yard. And we're not in the role of manipulating or talking our clients into anything, but it is important in the way that we present information that we allow them to keep their perspective to get through the negotiations, because this is a very emotional time. Okay, so you're reviewing the inspection results. You make the decision that you're not going to terminate, but there are items that need to be addressed. And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, I'm going to actually walk you through an example that I've come up with that has some specifics, and talk about how some of these different issues, through these specifics we can generalize and extrapolate, can be resolved. You're listening to Real Estate Talk on 1580 KGAL.
The 107th season of the Corvallis OSU Symphony Orchestra is about to begin, with 5 concerts in the regular season and a special concert on October 28th. Regular concerts include music from Chopin, Debussy, and Ravel, Strauss, and Tchaikovsky, the magnificent Holiday Concert, Bach's St. Matthew Passion with full choir, and the monumental Mahler Symphony No. 5. Warm up to the concert season Sunday, October 28th at 3 p.m. with Halloween with Harry, the music from Harry Potter. Get tickets early and find out about season symphony tickets online at cosusymphony.org. The regular season begins Sunday, November 18th, and features popular piano virtuoso Alexander Tutenov on Chopin's Piano Concerto No. 2. Also, the Debussy Nocturnes and Ravel's Daphne and Chloe Part 2. Don't miss a single concert. Get your tickets now online at cosusymphony.org.
Enjoy the season with Bo's Family Farm Pumpkin Patch and Corn Maze in Albany. Fun for the entire family. Enter to win a half a hog by finding all 6 punch stations in a 6-acre corn maze. Enjoy the all-new miniature disc golf course. And for the little ones, there's painting, kiddie play area, hay pyramid, water duck races, and more. Moms and dads can shop at the Bo's Family Farm store with farm fresh produce, with refreshing snacks and drinks while you browse for fall decorations like corn stalks, wheat bundles, and farm merchandise. Bo's Family Farm offers field trips and a rental of their corn maze complete with a fire pit. Ask about their group and party rates. Bo's Family Farm is open now through Halloween, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 a.m. to dusk, with fun for the entire family. Harvest fun now at Bo's Family Farm Pumpkin Patch and Corn Maze. For pricing, times, and more details, go to Bo's Family Farm Facebook and bosfamilyfarm.com.
Oh, there it goes. Hey, stop that pumpkin! Get ready to lace your sneakers and run away with the best of them. It's the 2nd annual Runaway Pumpkin Half Marathon. On Saturday, October 27th, runners from all over the state will gather at Cheetah Lake Park in Lebanon for the start of this 13.1-mile track to benefit the ABC House. 100% of the proceeds will go directly to the ABC House to help serve abused children in the Mid-Willamette Valley area. Walkers are welcome and have more than 4 hours to complete this beautiful country course. All participants receive an awesome tech shirt, cool finishers medal, a backpack full of goodies, great food, and a chance to win prizes. First place male and female finishers get a $250 gift card to Lowe's. Come in costume and join the fun. If you cannot attend, sign up to be a virtual runner or volunteer. Registration is going on now. Visit runawaypumpkinhalf.org to register and learn more. Do it early and save. This event sponsored by United Healthcare, Lowe's Regional Distribution Center, and this radio station.
Jim Bohannon, weeknights on News Talk 1580, KGAL.
Welcome back to Real Estate Talk. I'm Dave Pouch of RE/MAX Integrity. This morning we're talking about negotiations in real estate, but not the initial negotiations, but those that take place throughout the transaction. Specifically right now, we're talking about repairs. So before the break, I was talking about a situation where, okay, you've got an inspection report. You've made the decision that you're not going to terminate, but there are some items that need to be addressed. So for the purposes of this discussion, I'm going to provide you a couple of examples. There's some missing or damaged flashing on the roof around 2 or 3 different vents. The electrical panel is a Federal Pacific panel from the 1970s, and it has 2 double-tap breakers. The siding has some minor moisture damage around a windowsill on the east side of the house, and at that same window, which is a vinyl window, the seal is broken. There's a small leak on the drain line under a bathroom sink in the master bathroom. The furnace filters are dirty, and the furnace hasn't been serviced in 3 years, and the garbage disposal is making a weird sound and doesn't work right. So those are the big issues, let's say. How do you address them? Well, we'll start by what's important to you as a buyer. And again, let's assume you are financing the purchase with a conventional loan. We're going to go with that option first. We'll talk about the other options later. So you have a wide array of options available to you. None of these items are deal killers for you. They may be for other buyers, but for you, we're going to assume they're not deal killers. But certainly they are things that you're going to want the seller to bear some responsibility for fixing. Okay? You're negotiating. Let's also stipulate here that the seller was not specifically aware of the problems. The seller wasn't trying to hide them. There's no ill will or bad intent. They want to sell the home. Okay? Your agent, working for you as the buyer, gets a contractor or maybe multiple contractors because you have maybe plumbing, electrical, and other issues. They get some contractors to come out and they give you bids for the repairs. Let's say when you add up all of those total bids, it's a little over $2,300. I don't know, the garbage disposal is probably $200, the roof maybe $500, the electrical panel to change out a panel, get the permit, everything about $1,000, single window repair, $500, other minor issues, maybe $150 total. Stop at this point. Think back to your initial negotiations on price. How hard did the seller fight? Were there conversations about being at the bottom line? Did you have to back off with a counteroffer? Did they come back at you with a counteroffer? Did you really beat the seller up hard at price at that phase and maybe used up all your goodwill? Is there any goodwill left? All of these things are going to play into your strategy now. If the tone of the negotiations at the beginning, when you got into contract, was generally positive, then you're going to have a different approach than if it was rough and tumble, ugly, bloody, terrible negotiations at the beginning. Okay? The tone of the negotiations is important, and how you left off is going to be important to how you start now. Also, look at what your goals are. Do you have the cash available to take care of those big pieces yourself after the closing? Again, we're talking about a conventional loan. It may be an option. How much would a $2,500 price reduction save you in your monthly payment, given your interest rate, given the difference in if you were to add that in? Is there a time constraint for either you or the seller? And this happens all the time, folks. Let's say your lease is up and you need to be in that house by the 1st of November. Now, that little repair wrinkle could delay closing maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, and put you into the middle of November. What are you going to do during those 2 weeks? Is it worth it for you to short-circuit the repair timeline? And along the same lines, is there leverage on your side because, I don't know, the seller's trying to coordinate the closing of this house with the purchase of another house, and that timeline doesn't work for them? So one option for you as a buyer in a conventional loan may be to say, look, take $2,500 off the purchase price, or increase our closing cost credit by $2,500, and you know what, we'll take care of those repair issues ourselves. None of that, the house isn't falling down, it's not going to burn down tomorrow. We can take care of that either right after we close and before we move in, or right after we move in. Notice that I went over and above the bid price here, because I said it was going to be about $2,300. We're asking for a $2,500 concession. And why? Well, because you have to account for overages. Somebody gave you a bid that says that window repair is going to be $300. It could be $500. It could be $250, but it could be $600. You also, if the leverage is on your side, you're taking the risk, and you should be compensated for taking that risk. So, again, one way to play it. Maybe you're helping them meet their need. And again, I want to clarify, and this is important for you to understand. In your contract, assuming that you are using the Oregon Real Estate Form Standard Earnest Money Agreement, okay, you're both working with licensed Oregon real estate professionals and you're using the standard forms, there is a clause in that contract that says you are buying the house as is. There is no contractual legal requirement for the seller to make any repairs at all. However, as the buyer, you have the right to terminate the transaction. So think of that as the nuclear option, pulling the plug, killing the deal. And you have to be conscious of that option, both on the part of the buyer and of the seller. Okay? You as a buyer can terminate, yes, but the seller can too. The seller can say enough is enough. And the $360 for servicing the furnace could become the straw that breaks the camel's back. Now, Rarely is a deal going to fall apart over one small item, but it certainly could be the last straw. Okay, I got one nerve left and you're on it. Know what your leverage is, because that is what you have to manage throughout the transaction. Also, be prepared for the seller to get their own bids from their own contractors. So if your contractor said the roof will take $500 and their contractor says $1,000, or even worse, their contractor says there's nothing wrong with the flashing on the roof, okay, that's the worst situation. How do you handle that? And again, what was the tone of the negotiations up to this point? It becomes important, because there is going to be conflict. And actually, I've got a friend of mine now, a real estate agent, has a client, and they're dealing with a roof issue, and they have one contractor who says, yeah, there's some minor issues on the roof. They have one contractor who says roof needs to be replaced. What's the right answer? How do you resolve that and work through that? Because now you're talking about negotiating from positions. Okay, the buyer's in one position, the seller's in another position. They believe they're expert. You got to find middle ground. Okay, and there again, this is the role of the agent in this. If you as the agent, if your agent has allowed you to set up these separate camps, that's harder to negotiate than if the agent is presenting information to you in a way that is absolutely factual, absolutely accurate, but talks about what your best interests are in getting that sold sign in the yard, taking the emotion out of it. It's absolutely key. So quickly here, what if you're in a FHA or a VA or a USDA loan? Well, as I said, the appraiser is going to play a role. Now, you're in the repair section. The appraisal hasn't taken place yet, but you're in a situation where you don't have the option of accepting a defect and fixing it yourself. The lender is going to want it fixed, and you have to know that the appraiser is going to call it out. So now you have to get the seller on board to complete that repair, or at a minimum, that knowing that those repairs at a minimum are going to be lender required. And folks, this is even more difficult when your seller is not a person. When your seller is Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, because they don't care. Now, they may do lender required repairs, but they may also want to add the cost of those repairs right onto the top of your purchase price. It is difficult to negotiate with a bureaucracy, okay? That's all I'm saying. Now, if you're going to ask for repairs, there are some things that you need to remember. First, I want you to make sure that you are using the repair addendum. There is a specific form in the OREF, the Oregon Real Estate Forms Library, for repairs. You should use that, not just a blank addendum, okay? Make your request very specific. Don't use line item numbers from the inspection report. Think about it. It is better to say 3 vents on the roof on the west side of the house need to be reflashed. Seller will have a licensed roofing contractor repair these vents. Than it is to say, seller to make repairs per the inspection report as follows: line 1103, line 1203, line 1501. Doing it that way is going to raise red flags with your lender. It's going to make it difficult to track repairs as they're completed, and it does not provide specifics that can be addressed later if those repairs are not done correctly, okay? And again, there is absolutely nothing wrong with having your agents discuss these repair issues and then put down on paper what is agreed to in concept verbally, okay? The required standard repair addendum does provide for a seller counterproposal, though. Again, the reason to use it instead of a plain blank addendum, okay? Without that, using a blank addendum, it's difficult administratively, okay, to resolve differences between parties. If you're going to put it in writing and go back and forth on paper, you absolutely have to use the real estate repair addendum form. Now, if negotiations are tense, you may consider limiting your repair request to those items that could be lender related. Do not use the inspection report as your repair request. Expecting every single line item to be fixed, it's unrealistic, generally. And remember, no house is perfect. So you got to keep that in mind. Okay, we're going to talk about what happens. You've gotten the repairs taken care of. Everybody's happy, or at least staying in the deal. The repairs are being resolved. Next, we're going to talk about how to negotiate through the appraisal issues. So stay with us. We'll take a break. I'm Dave Pausch of RE/MAX Integrity. This is Real Estate Talk on KGAL.
Take the gorgeous drive to Peoria Road Farm Market right now to take advantage of their bodacious sweet corn, nice assortment of awesome apples, homegrown peaches, winter squash, and seasonal produce. Get your salsa on with Peoria sweet onions, peppers, tomatoes, and get your fall decor right there. Experience the farm market's amazing corn maze and be sure to get a pumpkin patch hayride from now to Halloween. Go 1 mile east of Corvallis on Highway 34. Take Peoria Road 1.6 miles south to the Peoria Road Farm Market.
Geico presents a thank you letter from your RV.
Hey there, I just wanted to say thanks. Ever since Geico helped you save money on your RV insurance, we've been roaming a lot more. I'll never forget our night in Flagstaff. It was so epic you painted a mural of it on my side. Although I don't remember the Arctic wolves, the wild stallions, or the Bengal tiger. Weird.
Geico could help you save on your RV insurance, and that should make you and your RV very happy.
The craving for chocolate is all grown up.
That's Jared!
Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, presents Levion Chocolate Diamonds and chocolate-cultured South Sea Pearls. From ancient royalty to today's red carpet, Levion is the only company on Earth to make jewelry with chocolate diamonds, including exclusive designs you'll only find at Jared.
It can only be Jared!
Find a Jared store or shop anytime at jared.com.
Termites, ants, wasps, spiders. What's bugging you? Do you want a more environmentally responsible way to treat insects? The best way to protect your home is to get some help. Professional help. But who do you choose? The phone book is full of choices, and if you call them all, you'd get everything from an answering machine to a national call center in another state. So how do you protect your home from what's bugging you? Calmly pick up your phone and call Swanson's Pest Management. You'll be talking with experienced pest experts who will arrange a free inspection to determine the correct type of treatment needed. First, we'll attack the outside to prevent them from getting in. Next, we'll offer the most responsible treatment solutions, and we'll apply the treatment properly so there's no residue to be brought in by shoes or paws. We have a reputation for excellence in service. Call Swanson's Pest Management today for your free inspection, and we'll take care of the problem, no matter what's bugging you. Swanson's Pest Management. In Albany, call 967-7435. For Corvallis, 752-2427. CCB 79884.
Today and tomorrow, it's the Mid-Valley's 9th Annual Greek Food Fest. Greek food, Greek music, Greek food, Greek dancing, and Greek food. Wine and spirits, music and crafts. Complete dinners for only $13, $10 for seniors, $8 per child. Or just graze for appetizers and desserts. All proceeds help pay for the renovation and maintenance of the historic Lewisburg Grange Hall. Today and tomorrow, follow the music, food, and fun to the Lewisburg Grange Hall for the 9th Annual Greek Food Fest.
Laugh, cry, or get scared spitless with When Radio Was. Weeknights at 10 on 1580 KGAL.
Welcome back to Real Estate Talk. I'm Dave Pausch of RE/MAX Integrity. We're talking about negotiations, and we addressed mid-transaction negotiations for repairs in the last segment. But what about appraisals? And that's the other common point where you're renegotiating. It's not uncommon in our environment today for appraisals to come in low, and when that happens, it is yet another stage of the negotiation process. Again, continually evaluate your leverage throughout and evaluate the tone of the negotiations up to this point. There can be a lot of items previously in play that can come back into play at this stage. Now, let's say your initial contract called for a $5,000 concession in buyer closing costs. The appraisal now comes in $4,000 below the agreed upon price. It's not uncommon for the seller to want to readdress those closing costs. Again, there are just a few ways this can go. One, the deal can fall apart. Earnest money's refunded, everybody walks away, nobody gets a keys to a house, nobody gets a sold sign. Number two, the buyer can increase the amount of cash they're bringing to close to make the deal work. This is going to depend on the loan program that you have to some extent, and it will not in all cases be an option. Number three, the seller can drop the price to the appraised value, and your earnest money contract, again, on the standard form, does say that the house has to qualify for the purchase. This is where that appraisal value comes in. Finally, the parties can find a compromise, and this includes reducing closing cost concessions, dropping the price, the buyer bringing additional amounts of cash in, and any combination thereof. So imagine the seller who negotiated up front and took a net $10,000 less than they wanted and that included closing costs. Then there was that $2,500 in repairs that you just negotiated, and now they're being asked to drop the price another $5,000. You can imagine their frustration, and it certainly justifies in the mind of the buyer the upfront price negotiations, but now is not the time to gloat. If, as a buyer, you want this deal to continue, look at your situation. Assume that you have no way to bend on the price, meaning you can't bring in cash, either because of lack of cash or because of the loan requirements. Closing costs may not be an option for you either. Well, can you go back to the repair addendum and ease up on some of those requirements? Maybe you can. The seller is typically in the weakest position here. They're against the wall because the appraisal is going to stick with the property for the next buyer, again, especially if it's an FHA or a VA loan. Any repair issues? They could be around too, if it's going to be an FHA or a VA loan. They also have to be disclosed now, by the way. Their options can be as narrow as concede or don't sell. And that's going to mean not selling for some people. And that's also going to mean not selling period of time. Appraisals can be challenged, and many sellers are going to push for this. Buyers, go ahead and let them. The worst case for you as a buyer, okay, the worst case is you pay the price you were happy with 10 minutes ago. Okay, you pay the price you were happy with at the end of the earlier negotiations. Appraisers do make mistakes. Sometimes they pull the wrong comps. Sometimes they don't account for variances in properties. Don't be a roadblock to that review process. Now, I have seen buyers bring in additional cash, and in one instance, they were going to buy this particular house or they were going to rent for another year. Well, $1,200 a month in rent payment, in their view, was throwing money down the tubes. It made that $10,000 extra at closing a no-brainer. But that was their choice. They had the capacity to do it, and their circumstances, the seller was not in a position where they needed to sell. In fact, the wife really did not want to sell, but the husband did. So here's the bottom line. Negotiations run through the entire process, from the initial negotiations to get you into the contract, up through the end in some cases. You should be continually evaluating your negotiating position, what your options are, and you should be working with your agent to help you navigate your way through them. It is important that the agents be helping you to maintain your eye on the prize. And the prize, in most cases, in the best interest of both parties, is getting that transaction closed. Okay? They should be talking to you about what it takes to keep you on track to get that. Certainly, you may have the option to terminate if that is what you see as in your best interest, but their goal, and everybody's goal, is to get that transaction closed. And that's okay. That's really, I view that to be in my client's best interest up until the point where it's not. You as the buyer, you as the seller, you are the decision maker. Your agent is your agent. They are your advisor. They are your counsel. And they can do a lot to feel out the other agent who's going to be working with their client. It's okay to communicate through your agents, work out issues before you put them in writing. In fact, sometimes it is so much better because it reduces the stress for each party. It reduces the unknowns of a piece of paper going back and forth. Finally, buyers, understand who your seller is. Frankly, a single older widow or widower who's lived in the house for 25 years, who maybe just lost their spouse a year ago, they're a different seller than a builder. They're a different seller than a young couple who's anxious to buy a new house so they can sell the too small house that they're living in now to you. And how you negotiate with each of these different types of sellers is going to be important for you to get the best deal and keep the best deal and make the transaction go as smoothly and as stress-free as possible. I'm Dave Pouch of RE/MAX Integrity. You're listening to Real Estate Talk. We will be right back with today's real estate market update.
The Shed Institute and the Emerald City Jazz Kings opens their 2012-2013 series of concerts in Corvallis, Friday, October 19th, with a new director and a great lineup of popular music and jazz of the 20s through the 50s. First up, The Very Thought of You, a celebration of the music of British composer and bandleader Ray Noble. Join new director Jesse Cloninger and the band with such classics as The Very Thought of You, Cherokee, and The Isle of Capri. As always, the Jazz Kings performance will be unforgettable. The Jazz Kings is a big band of fine Northwest musicians, plus an excellent group of singers. One performance only in Corvallis, Friday, October 19th, 7:30 p.m. at LaSalle Stewart Center. For more information, go to KGAL.com or kshow.net and click on the OFAM link or call 541-434-7000. Tickets will also be available at the door. The Emerald City Jazz Kings at LaSalle Stewart Center on the OSU campus.
Howdy. I'm not a propane professional, but I played one on TV. In the uncertain times we face in America, I'm here to remind you what's important in life. Be a good neighbor. Have a firm handshake. Work hard. Enjoy a cold beverage with friends. Love your wife and the community you live in. Maintain a good lawn and take care of the environment by using the cleaner burning fuel, propane. Visit your only hometown locally owned and operated energy provider, Co-Energy Propane, on Highway 99 South in Corvallis. Just look for my smiling face out by the road. There's a big blue building with a yellow awning. That's Co-Energy Propane. They sell both propane and propane accessories.
Co-Energy Propane presents Golf for the Cure, October 15th at the Corvallis Country Club in support of Susan G. Komen for the Cure. Sign up online right now at coenergypropaneforthecure.com.
Keep your energy dollars working right here in the Willamette Valley with Co-Energy Propane.
Buying or selling real estate can leave you with a lot of questions.
You found what you're looking for in the perfect house. You know someone else is looking at it too, and that if you don't make an offer today, you might lose it, but your spouse hasn't seen it. What do?
Dave Pouch has the answers, only on Real Estate Talk.
The internet is a great tool for buyers, but which sites are the best? We're live every Saturday talking about what's actually going on in the market here.
Real Estate Talk, Saturday mornings at 10 on 1580 KGAL.
Samurai Greenhouse Supply is having Customer Appreciation Day on Saturday the 27th from 10 to 6. The industry's best vendors will be on site talking about their products and how they can help you achieve maximum yields from your indoor garden, including Sunlight Supply, Humboldt Wholesale, BioAg, Smart Pot, Oregon LED Garden Lights, Green Planet, and Aptus Plant Tech. Black Rock Barbecue and guess the weight of the giant pumpkin at Samurai Greenhouse Supply on Highway 99E in Tangent. Check online at samuraigreenhousesupply.com for more details. Grow your own, it just tastes better.
You can call us Lefty or you can call us Righty. We just call it Smarty Talk on 1580 KGAL.
This is Real Estate Talk. I'm Dave Pouch of RE/MAX Integrity. Today, the market update. We'll begin in Corvallis. Inventory up 5. Today, 158 active listings. Average asking price $355,984. 158 homes sold the past 90 days, down 2. Currently, 2.89 months of inventory, and the streak continues. That's the 4th week in a row. More houses sold in the last 90 days than are currently on the market in Corvallis. The median sold price is down, however, today at $260,000, averaging $152.51 per square foot. On average, 110 days on the market from listing to close. In Lebanon, 77 homes are available. That's up 1. The median asking price is also up today at $156,598. In the last 90 days, 50 homes have sold. That's up 1 from the last report. Median sold price down, however, today at $109,950. $84.94 is the per square foot average, and homes spend 128 days on the market from listing to close. Currently, 4.62. That's a good number. 4.62 months of inventory is available. Finally, to Albany, where inventory is down 3 with 268 active listings. The average asking price also down slightly at $190,845. 164 homes have sold in the past 3 months. That's down 4. The median sale price is up a hair today at $164,450. Homes are spending an average of 124 days on the market from listing to close, and the average dollar per square foot value is up at $110.28. Currently, 4.9 months of inventory available in Albany. That's the market update for this 13th day of October 2012. Coming up on Thursday, October 18th, John Polanski from the Community Services Consortium and Holly Needham from Willamette Neighborhood Housing Services are going to be here to talk about foreclosure prevention, the Oregon Home Stabilization Initiative. If you know somebody who is facing foreclosure, if you are somebody who is facing foreclosure, make sure they listen. There are some amazing programs available right now. Let us tell you about those programs and how you can tap into them. That's this Thursday, October 18th at 11 o'clock. We're here every Saturday morning talking real estate on 1580 KGAL. I'm Dave Pouch of RE/MAX Integrity. We'll see you next week. Go Beavs!
Your first choice in local news, sports, and smart talk. This is News Talk 1580 KGAL, Lebanon, Albany, Corvallis.